You can't find new relatives or ancestors without documents, and you won't be able to find all the documents you need in these places I showed in Family History Fundamentals, Parts 1 and 2. Many records of genealogical value are housed elsewhere on the Internet, and a whole slew of documents, records, and books digitally available on FamilySearch are hidden from the search engine. These hidden records won't show up in any of these places. In this video, I'll show you how to determine what records are available for any location you may be researching, and if they've been digitized, how to find those records online. I'll also explain why some records are hidden from the search engine on FamilySearch, and I'll show you how to access these hidden records. And I'll tell you what you can do to help correct the hidden record situation. One of the best places on the World Wide Web to determine what records exist and the date ranges they covered for any location is the FamilySearch Research Wiki. Access it on the search menu. You can use the map to navigate or simply type the name of the place to get to the Research Wiki page for the locality where your ancestor lived. Each page is custom, but generally you'll find some historical and geographical information and details, often in a chart like this, about when the local authorities began keeping the various record types for the area. A little lower on the page is generally where you'll find links to online records. If you are researching people who lived in the United States before 1850, or are having difficulty finding records using the methods I previously taught, then you will want to search for what I referred to earlier as hidden records. To be clear, FamilySearch is not hiding records from anyone. Quite the opposite. The FamilySearch library is an actual library. It's the largest repository for genealogical records in the world, and making their records searchable by computer is simply a two-step process, with the first step being much faster than the second, so a large number of records are still awaiting the second step. While records await indexing, the library has made the images available to patrons. Indexing is what makes a digital image searchable by computer. Here is an example of an indexed record. An actual person had to look at the handwritten image and key the information from the document into a database which appears at the bottom of the page. This index makes the record searchable by computer. Here is an image-only record. The document has been scanned, but it is awaiting the indexing process. There is no typed index at the bottom. The record will remain invisible or hidden from the search engine until the information is keyed into an index. Even though this record is invisible to the search engine, it is not hidden from us. We can find the image using traditional research methods and attach it as a source in our tree. And we can use the library catalog to locate the image-only records that are invisible to the search engine. Because searching the catalog is not as easy as these search methods I outlined in Family History Fundamentals Part 1, you should always use these methods before using the catalog to search for image-only records. To access the catalog, go to Search and then down to Catalog. Because most of the records of genealogical value are kept at the county level, the most efficient way to search the catalog is by performing a place name search for the county in which your ancestor lived. Type place names in descending order: country first, then state, then county. You can restrict availability in order to show only online records, but because we want to get a better idea of what records exist in Lawrence County, we won't toggle that on today. We're looking for records in the catalog that have been digitized but not yet indexed. You can work your way down the list, but we're going to target image-only records of the highest genealogical value. As of this recording, those records are wills, under the probate category, deeds, under land and property, and biographies, which have a category of their own. We're going to click on this second one down. Records with a red digital version here link that doesn't take us to a search engine and records with a camera icon that doesn't have a magnifying glass next to it are the digitized but not yet indexed records we want. The red alert is always in the Notes section under the gray box, and the camera and magnifying glass icons are always in the Format column down below. Generally, you'll have either the red alert or the camera icon. On this biography listing, we see a red alert, but not the camera icon. The link took us to a digital book, not a search engine, so we know it's one of the image-only records we're looking for. We're going to view all the pages. The first thing you want to do is go to the back of the book to look for an index. I'm going to use the tool in the bottom right. We have an index. We're going to use, for an example, our Gormley family from Family History Fundamentals, Part 3. So we're going to page through the index till we get to the Gormleys. So here we have Kenneth and Myrtle Farmer, both listed on page 752. If there is no index, go to the front of the book and click on the thumbnail icon in the lower left and look for a table of contents. Now we're going to go to page 752. Page numbers and image numbers in a digital book rarely align, but now we have a bearing. 752. The biography identifies 5 generations of this Gormley family. Biographies for residents of a given county were popular in America in the early 1900s and often included information on previous generations. Because of limited record availability in the early 1800s, biographies may be the only source you can find for a few of the earlier members of your family. Use them as a guide, but verify facts with primary source documents. As you have seen, biographies are very easy to find using the library catalog. The second record we'll go for is wills, since they're a little more lucrative than deeds. Wills and deeds are some of the best sources available to document relationships before 1850, when birth and death certificates didn't exist and only the head of the household was named in census records. We'll be looking for the will of Robert Gormley, the subject of the biography that we just viewed. We want to view the original will, not an abstract. So looking at the offerings here in the catalog, we see that this one is by the county court, so those are the official wills. Before we get started, you should know that Ancestry has a growing collection of indexed wills and estate papers. So if you have access to Ancestry, search there before searching for wills here on FamilySearch. The library's vast collection of wills is on microfilm and is now digitized. There are a number of tips and tricks that make searching microfilms and digitized microfilms easier. Some record collections, like wills and deeds, have indexes on microfilm that give a book and page number to locate a record on another microfilm. A microfilm title or description may reference more than one item of content. The order of the referenced content will match the order of the content on the microfilm. If there are several items listed, make a mental note of where the item of interest falls within the list. Content may be labeled with an item number, which tells you which section of the microfilm in which to find that content. Let's look at a microfilm. Microfilms have title pages, and if the microfilm is divided into sections, each section will have a heading visible from this thumbnail view. We have Section 1 and Section 2. Section 2 is indexes for C and D surnames. Section 3 for E and F surnames. And then Section 4 for G and H. Records within a section on a microfilm are generally organized either alphabetically or by date or by some combination. On this microfilm, the indexing system instructions stood out in the thumbnail view. Pages on this microfilm are clearly labeled with the LMNRT key that identifies the organizational system. Because you may run across this Russell indexing system or another similar one, I'll briefly explain how to use it. This indexing system relies on 3 letters from a person's name: the first letter of the surname, the first letter of the given name, and the first key consonant in the surname that falls after the first letter. Key consonants L, M, N, R, and T are listed inside the key. The first of these key consonants in Gormley is R. The first letter of the surname indicates the index book. The first key consonant indicates the column in the chart. The first letter of the given name indicates the row in the chart. The box in the chart where the column and row intersect identifies the section number within the index book. Robert Gormley, if he left a will in Lawrence County, will be found in Will Index Book G, Section 84. The advantage to this system is that it compensates for some spelling variations. Gormley, Garmley, and Gormley will all appear in the same section, saving us from having to search for them separately. All right, we have books C and D, E and F, G and H. We're looking for section 84, so we're going to go down a few images here and get our bearings. Page 1 of section 64. We need to go a little further. Go back to the thumbnail view, go down a little ways, and now we're at 94, so we've gone too far. Okay, so here we're at 83.1, and we're looking for 84. So now we're just going to use the arrow, and here we are at 84. We have Robert Gormley in Will Book 1, page 357. Further down, we have Susan Gormley, another Robert Gormley, date of 1914. Our Robert Gormley died in 1914, so we'll look at this Will Book 10, page 387. Will Book 10 is on the same microfilm with Will Book 9 and 11, so it's going to be the second item on the microfilm. I find the second item, then scroll down what feels like 387 pages and click to get my bearings. Page 428 is too far. I home in on page 387. When I get close, I switch to arrows to navigate. We found a will for Robert Gormley. Fred T. Gormley is listed. And a little further down, Fred is named as Robert's son. Now we'll look for deeds for Robert Gormley, and those are listed under Land and Property. This top one lists deeds by the Recorder of Deeds, so those are the official ones. There are several reasons to look for deeds in family history research. They document residency, they often listed familial relationships, and members of the same family often witness deeds for one another, which helps identify extended family members. These deeds, like most early deeds in the U.S., are digitized but are not yet indexed. We're going to look in the grantor indexes for Robert Gormley. We're going to look in the G index here. I've scrolled down to G and then found section 84. The page has the LMNRT key, so I know this index uses the Russell system that the will books used, but because there are so many more deeds than there are wills, the will index chart that identified section 84 won't work here. It's giving me the given names that start with H instead of R. There's no chart on any of the Lawrence County Deed Index microfilms. We could use what we know about the organization system and wing it, but instead I found a Russell index chart for deeds in neighboring Beaver County, which happens to work in Lawrence County as well. The Beaver County chart identifies section 144 as our new target. It's roughly 3/4 of the way through the chart, so we'll scroll roughly 3/4 of the way through the images to get our bearings. In this index, we have the grantor, the grantee, the deed book number, and the page number, and then the date that it was recorded. So we're going to scroll down. We've got a whole list of Gormleys here. Robert Gormley sold land to the Hickory School District, as recorded in Will Book 23, page 245, and that happened in 1873. So we'll look this deed up in the deed books. We're going to go down past the indexes to the deed books. We want deed book 23, which is going to be the third and final item on the microfilm. Since deed book 23 is the final item on the microfilm, we're going to do something different and type in the final image number to get to the end of the microfilm. And I saw on the index that there were roughly 500 pages, so we'll scroll about halfway. We're looking for page 245. And here we have Robert Gormley and wife. His wife is named Margaret in this deed, which is exactly why we use these in genealogy. Another record I generally look for is tax records, when the catalog lists them. Early American tax lists don't overtly state relationships. Since they listed only adult males and widows, a first appearance of a man on a tax list can indicate his coming of age, or the first appearance of a woman may indicate a change in marital status and may help document her husband's death. Biographies, wills, deeds, and tax lists are pretty easy to find using the catalog. If, however, you find these image-only searches intimidating or tedious, or you find the whole idea of hidden records appalling, you can help eliminate the problem by volunteering to index here on the FamilySearch indexing page. In this video series, I have included a fair amount of information on American records and research because early American research is complex and can be challenging. No matter where in the world your ancestors came from, the research process is the same, only the records and availability will be different. The FamilySearch Research Wiki and the FamilySearch Library Catalog can help you determine what records are available for what dates in any location, and they can help you locate records online, even if those records aren't on the FamilySearch website. FamilySearch has a large number of image-only records awaiting indexing that are invisible or hidden from the search engine. To find image-only records, perform a place name search in the library catalog with the online availability toggled on. Look for these indicators for digital records, but remember to skip any digital record with a magnifying glass icon or whose digital link takes you to a search engine, because you can and probably have already searched those records elsewhere. For books, whether digital or in print, always look for an index first and a table of contents if there isn't an index, to make searching faster. When searching microfilms, comb the title and description for clues and inspect microfilm pages to get a feel for the film's organization. Use everything you know about the film, its organizational system, and your ancestor to home in on a record. You can help make records searchable by volunteering to key information from documents into the computer here on the indexing page. Finding image-only records gets easier with practice, and even better, volunteer indexers will eventually eliminate the entire process altogether. I, for one, look forward to the day when this video becomes obsolete. But until then, I hope the techniques and tips in this video help you find more records and more relatives.